Hello and welcome. We are delighted that you signed up for the range. Each season we ask all our shooters to view our main safety video and understand what is expected of them and of the other shooters while at our range. We understand many have extensive knowledge of firearms, but we also have first-time shooters who are anxious to learn and to get involved. Our safe gun handling rules are here to prevent the gun from going bang when it should not. These rules are the first level of safety, and everyone needs to understand our gun handling procedures. We have a cold range policy. All guns are to be loaded only at the firing line. Guns will be unloaded and holstered or bagged whenever a shooter is at our range, except when at the firing line. The NRA has 3 safe gun handling rules which shooters follow regardless of where they are shooting. 1. Always keep your gun pointed in a safe direction. 2. Always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. 3. Always keep your gun unloaded until ready to use. The NRA safe gun handling procedures are followed at all gun ranges and shooting events. Following these rules will keep shooters in good standing at any other private range. So we grab our bags, toss them in the car, and we head down to the range. Take time to ensure your guns are unloaded and properly stored in a gear or shooting bag. Shooting bags do much more than look cool and tactical. They are a convenient way to lug all that gear back and forth. But using a proper shooting bag also prevents a safety issue. We ask that you carry your gun in a gun bag. This could mean your big gear bag or a separate gun pouch or sleeve. Sporting stores carry pistol pouches for about $15 to $20. They're perfect. A smaller bag is easier to carry to the firing line. And no, a grocery bag does not qualify as a gun bag. So here's a bonus tip. Look for a gun pouch that can hold your magazines in a side sleeve or pocket. You'll be totally ready. But wait, take a closer look at this photo. Notice the gun lying open on the gun case? This is exactly what should not happen. On arrival at the range, raise the flag and take your gear to the bag bench. At the bag bench, please do not handle your gun. The only place that a gun can be handled is at the firing line. The bag bench is the place where handling of ammo and loading of magazines is allowed. This is also where the guns are stored until they are ready to use. But under no circumstances will there be gun handling behind the firing line. Yes, this means if you want to handle your gun or to show your gun to a friend, you must do it at the firing line, not at the bag bench. It's your turn to shoot. You're organized and ready. Take your loaded magazines, your gun in the gun case, and walk down to the firing line. This is where you open your case and handle your gun. At this point, a designated range safety officer or RSO will prepare the shooters. Follow their commands for firing and clearing of your firearm. Wearing a holster is one of the safest and easiest ways to handle and carry your firearm. A holster enables you to move freely around the range, and there is no fumbling of guns and gun bags. Add a magazine pouch and a shooter is ready to step up to the firing line. But there is one very important safety issue. Gun handling behind the firing line or bag bench is not permitted. This is not where the gun is placed into the holster. To load a holster, a shooter takes their gun bag to the firing line, pointing the gun down range. Make sure the gun is clear, and then place the gun in the holster. Do not touch it again until it is your turn to shoot and you are at the firing line. Remember, your gun must be unloaded when in your holster. Touching your ammo once the gun is in the holster, yes, that is allowed. Walking around the range with the gun in the holster, yes, that's allowed. Loading your pistol and ammo at the same time, positively not allowed. The only time handling of guns and ammo at the same time is at the firing line. Shooting involves a lot of prep work, assembly, and securing of guns and ammos and target. Shooting is exciting, something you look forward to. In short, there's a lot of psychological momentum moving you towards the firing line. But on arrival, stop. Look around. Are there vehicles downrange? Maintain situational awareness. What are the other shooters doing? Do you see someone or something that is unsafe? Perhaps muzzle discipline, too much joking around? Anything, stop. Shooting is a high concentration exercise. When done shooting, look around each time. Ask yourself, who's at the range with me? Who has come down to the range or left since I last looked? What is everyone doing? Be aware of vehicles coming and going. After all, your back is to the parking lot. When shooting, this isn't a tactical exercise or a range dance. It's just, looking around. One of the best things to do at the range is to show that you're safe. The quickest way to freak everyone out at the range is to turn around while holding your gun. No one wants to be looking at the front end of a muzzle. Part of the fun is sharing with your friends when you blow up the charcoal at 25 yards. Sharing your shots is encouraged, so long as you and your gun keep facing the targets. So if you need to turn around for some reason, no problem. Just make your gun safe first by unloading and showing the chamber clear. Then place the gun on the bench. Simple. One of the dangerous errors in handling a gun is breaking the 180 degrees. So what is the 180 degrees? While standing at the firing line, the 180 rule applies both horizontally and vertically, as if there's an invisible wall or plane. And any time the muzzle breaks that plane, you have violated the 180 rule. We have found the 180 rule is typically broken before or after a course of fire. An example, when racking the slide, changing a magazine, or moving from table to table. Imagine the finger is inside the trigger guard, on the trigger. You're moving. The gun muzzle moves from being pointed downrange directly to your neighbor. So if you hear the 180, realize that a correction by the shooter is needed. Shift that gun back downrange. New for this season, if there is an accidental or negligent discharge, the shooter should consider packing up and heading for home. Understand that all involved with the discharge will be shook up, and frankly, the shooter probably won't have any friends wanting to be their shooting neighbor. It's safer for everyone if the shooter calls it a day and returns on another day with a clear head. Below ready. Have you heard this command before? When the range is declared hot, the shooter's gun has a magazine loaded and a round chambered. Shooters are ready to shoot, but for some reason need to stop or wait. Take your finger off that trigger. Keep the full pistol extension position and simply drop the muzzle down to a 45-degree angle. Your grip, the stance, the elbows remain the same, but the muzzle is pointed at the ground in front of the target rather than directly at it. This position allows the shooter to keep their gun in a safe position, pointed downrange. Do not move the gun to the right or left, even in the low ready position. And no, holding the pistol pointed towards the sky is not an acceptable position. The command unload and show clear. We all know what that means. All shooters must stop shooting, drop their magazine, unload and show the chamber clear. But actually, there's more. The second part of the step is actually showing the range safety officer that your chamber is clear. While showing clear, make sure your finger is off the trigger guard. We could have 4 or 5 shooters at the firing line, and it is every shooter's job to show clear. The range safety officer will check, but take time. Give the RSO the courtesy of showing that you know your gun is safe. If you want to look like a pro, then just don't put your gun on the bench when you hear range is cold. Step away from the bench and stay away the whole time the range is cold. This is a super duper move that lets nearby shooters know that you're not messing around with your gun while the range is cold. Our range commands include trigger or hammer. We know you showed clear. But one more step in ensuring each gun cannot be fired is one more step in keeping everyone safe. At the end of a shooting sequence, all firearms except .22s will be pointed safely downrange and the trigger pulled, releasing the hammer. Once the trigger has been pulled, the gun can in no way be fired and can safely be packed into the holster or gun case. The RSO will call the range cold, and this is when the shooters step back from the firing line. By now, our shooters understand the command range is cold. This is the time when shooting has stopped. All guns have been shown clear and placed on the bench. This is the opportunity to head downrange to review or change targets or do maintenance activities out where the bullets fly. But there's much more to this command than just stop shooting. What must not happen is the handling of any gun during a range is cold period. How often has this happened? The range has been declared cold. Shooting is stopped. Shooters are downrange checking their targets, but somebody is still at the firing line and will touch, move, shift, reach for a new pistol, or decide that they're done shooting and begin packing up. Whatever, shooters are downrange. This is not the time to tinker with your gun, adjust the sights, or show your friends a cool new grenade launcher. It doesn't matter that your gun is empty and you have shown clear. A cold range means no touching of any gun. Okay, so you're done shooting. You want to leave the firing line. Basically, the process is the same as coming down to the firing line. The RSO has asked that all guns be unloaded and shown clear. To continue shooting, simply place the gun on the bench, slide open, and in the upright position, or insert a chamber safety flag. Wearing a holster, first trigger hammer, then place the gun back into the holster and step back. If the shooter is finished wearing the holster, remember to remove the pistol from the holster and place it into your gun bag for proper packing. But remember, unholstering the gun at the bag bench is not permitted. Once the range is declared cold, there is no handling of firearms anywhere. A chamber safety flag typically comes with most guns. It is inserted into the cleared chamber of the muzzle so that the slide can be closed. It is the perfect way to take your gun to the firing line. Not only does it keep your gun safe and unloaded, but it shows all the people around you that your gun is safe. Our range is different from most ranges. Shooting is available anytime, and there may not be an RSO on duty. When 2 or more shooters are at the range, we ask that one become the pseudo RSO and call the commands. At our range, we also have several sections. Because of the distance between the different sections, it becomes very difficult to share the range commands and ensure that everyone is hearing these commands and following them. There is only one set of range commands. We ask when multiple sections are in use at the same time that everyone make an effort to ensure one set of commands are being followed by all. The chance of one assuming the range is cold when actually the range is still hot is a very real problem, and one that all shooters must ensure doesn't happen. Remember, a ceasefire can be called by anybody, not just the RSO. Even spectators can call a ceasefire. When a ceasefire is called, stop firing immediately. Place your gun in the low ready position and wait for further instructions. In addition to the steel gong set at the 50 and 100 yards, we have added steel plates set on metal posts. The steel plates are a great training tool. They require accuracy. Super good eye and hand and finger coordination. 22 pistols up to 45s can shoot our steel plates, and 22 rifles are also welcome, but please do not shoot higher caliber. They will destroy our steel. Admittedly, our range is pretty darn nice. Unfortunately, our Rio Grande neighbors have also heard how great our range is. Last season, we had visitors arriving to shoot. After much discussion with Mike Rhodes, his directive is simple. Only badge holders are permitted at the range. This means Benson Palm Village guests, Retama Village, and our trainers. Mike also allows police and border patrol to shoot at our range. When an unauthorized visitor arrives, or someone who doesn't look familiar, kindly ask to see the range badge. Badge holders have seen our safety video and know our range procedures and are happy to show that they are authorized and welcome. If they are unable to show their badge and claim to be Tanglewood residents, friends of the Butterfly Park, friends of Mike's, simply tell them this is a private range for badge holders only. So, if a visitor proceeds to the range, simply call 911. They're trespassing. You are located at Hardwood Farms. This is per Mike Rhodes' instructions. Giving first aid to a fellow shooter is not what we want to see happen, but if it should, everyone needs to be prepared. At the bag bench, there is a storage box with a gunshot wound kit inside. This kit is a life-threatening emergency first aid kit and is designed for gunshot wounds, severe bleeding, or injury to an eye. Shooters should carry a small first aid kit in their gear bag for minor injuries. Question everything? Well, at least question everything you're not sure about. If you're not familiar with a procedure or range etiquette, feel free to ask. Our range is not staffed. If there's not an RSO, then ask a fellow shooter. Everyone will appreciate the fact that you care enough to ask. Last season, we set up the flag system and will continue this procedure again this year. So, upon arrival, check to see if the flag is up downrange where IOC, the construction company, is digging. Take a moment to make sure that they haven't forgotten to raise their flag. Raise our flag and continue to keep an eye out for vehicles. Should they begin to start digging, it'll be time to lower our flag and call it a day. Oh, and while we're talking about downrange movement, don't forget to keep an eye out for our hard-working Border Patrol. It's a lot easier to meet new friends and have a really good time when the other folks are not worried about safety. By slowing down, watching what is happening around you and within our range, we can ensure another safe and fun gun range season. Thanks for your attention. Now let's go shoot.